Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflict, episode 574. We're talking the anti-ICE insurgency and Street Fighter. And if I'm honest, and this is not me being lazy, it's a sign of a very full story here. They are basically the same thing. Anti-ICE insurgency is the macro level version of the story to include some of the political maneuverings and some of the bigger set pieces in what's going on in America. And then you've got essentially the street fight, which if you guys were anybody peeked around, I don't know about you guys, but my fucking feed was full of Portland and pretty much just
Chicago.
Portland. It's Chicago. Yeah. Chicago was the other one. Pretty nuts all weekend.
Well,
I'm
I have
just glad
to
we
say
made
it
it
was
through the weekend. So
if it was my feed, then it was a mix between Street Fighter and Frogger.
yeah. This Momo. Did we show the video last week where he got
Yeah.
That was funny.
Where Frogger meets the mad spray in the air intake.
That's exactly right. Joe, how you doing this today?
I am doing well and good. We had a fantastic event this weekend where we served over 500 veterans with cold weather gear. We gave them a meal, gave them a checkup with the VA and various other service providers, gave them a chance to hook up with the things they need to get through the winter. And I want to give some mad props to our boy Reverend Hazmat, who I think also goes as Clippy's Revenge in the chat, but he came out, drove a ridiculous number of hours to join us. So we hung out at the event. I gave him good news and bad news on Saturday night. The good news was that he was invited to the free dinner. The bad news was he had to be my date, but that's okay. We had a good time anyway. But it's always good when you're out doing good and spending time with other veterans, and it was absolutely fantastic. I gave a prayer that morning that should have had videotaped but did not, because like 5 different people asked me to write it down and send it to them, which I'll never be able to do because I just winged it. But it was pretty solid, and it's just great when you get an opportunity to get out and give back to each other. Do so.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was great that you guys were doing that. My big question though is, Joe, did you find any good smoking jackets?
Yo, I got a couple smoking jackets set aside for a couple guys. Yeah, we had a whole shipment from the DoD, and not just those, but the new heavier fleece liner thing.
Yeah, the bear suits.
Yeah. I found a whole set of them in 2X, and I was like, oh. Hey, sweet. And they're very well.
Blaine, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Struggling through what's going on here in Virginia with this Jay Jones.
Oh yeah, man! What an idiot that guy is.
Oh, it's worse than what's been a lot of stuff that's made the press even.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about that during the odds and ends because if this guy is able to get any traction, there is literally no hope for the left.
No.
I mean, their sense-making apparatus, is just completely gone at that point. Oh, hold on a second before I move on. Mexican Iron Man for $10. I agree with Joe on X. We can laugh at those wacko protesters, but at least they're training. Meanwhile, so many I know are fat and untrained and think just because they own a firearm, they'll be okay. Nope. Yeah, you're right. You can buy the tools, but if you don't have the training, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah, I talked about that too just the other day when I was like, hey, look, if we just go into the range and you're shooting from a standing position and you're hitting holes in paper, you're just hitting holes in paper. Do an engagement. Fire about 8 rounds at the rapid. Drop down to prone, 8 to 12 rounds sustained, come back up to kneeling. And once you got that mastered, start doing that with movement. It becomes a very different animal. Then you're actually training. You're actually learning something. Yeah. And Mexican Iron Man, I'm going to be in your region for the next couple of weeks. Just throwing that out there.
He kind of owes you one, doesn't he?
I wasn't going to go there, but I'm just saying.
Well, but I would go so far too as to say you can't just go out and do a weekend thing and say, "There, I'm trained." You gotta keep your skills up. And
Right.
Yeah.
a true warrior goes out and practices this stuff day after day, week after week to keep those skills up. Because if you just think, well, I bought a gun and I went out and I shot for a weekend, I'm now trained. You aren't.
Yeah, I mean it's if you've obtained in the past, if you've obtained a pretty high level, you will lose some of that, but you don't lose it all, right? But you gotta work to get it back up, right?
Right.
Because it's like any skill, it's that way. You know, I'm sure writing is the same way, right? If you lay off for a while, you're rusty when you get back into it, no matter how much you've written in the past.
I just don't lay off. So
I've noticed. Speaking of you not laying off, Tenure 3 is your latest banger, and it's doing very well on. I've noticed. You know, you're getting great reviews, and the bad reviews are so good that it's kind of like I almost want people to see the bad reviews because it's like when I read that bad review like that, I'm like, oh, it's got to be a good book.
yeah, it was number 1 over the weekend in Pulp Adventure. So, yeah, it's been doing good. I'm really pleased. The book has a lot of traction. People like good adventure stories.
You know, Blaine, I thought about you when I dug out an audio book from the past, and I thought about you, and it was the Out of the Ashes series. It was the first 6 books in the Out of the Ashes series, so that's in my phone for me to listen to over the next. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Me, man. I don't.
No, that's not you. It's not you. It's one from the 80s. It's this guy William Johnstone, you know, the Western writer. The Western writer.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him for his Western, but he did this like 20, 30 book series, and it was like the Mac Bolan kind of stuff, like really thin. You know, the audiobooks are 4 hours, you know, so they're not long. But it's very sparse, you know, very kind of punchy, you know, kind of terse prose. Not a whole lot of like getting down into explaining things, you know, which I kind of like that. It's hard to find that. That's one of the things. Yours is not that terse, you know, in tenure, but it's definitely spare, and you know, you don't fuck around, which I really like that.
Thank you.
And all your books is that like that. So.
Well, all I could say is you'll never view Poison Ivy the same way after you read this book.
I'm going to say right now, just because Scott brought it up, Able Team is greater than Mac Bolan.
Mac Bolan, yeah.
I mean, they worked for Mac Bolan, but I mean, it was good. It was the executioner. It was better stuff.
Joe, did you ever read any of those Out of the Ashes books?
The what ones?
Out of the Ashes series. I tell you what, I've got, like I said, these are like real old, like 90s audio files. They're based on the cassette tapes or whatever. I'll have to shoot a couple of those over to you for your perusal. It is old fashioned, like early 80s survivalist fiction.
That's when survivalist movement really took hold, was the 80s.
Yeah,
I believe it was because of my Uncle Larry. He was like the original 80s survivalist. But,
right. Yeah. Do you remember that movie, The Survivalists? The Chevy Chase and
yeah.
Was it Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd?
If there was a movie in the 80s that had one or the other in it, the other was in it too.
I know, it seems like it.
You can't beat Spies Like Us, though. You cannot beat.
Blaine.
Honestly, Kaylee's going to win. Braxton makes mistakes.
Yeah, I was going to say that
is
is
a flawed character. Yeah, Kaylee makes mistakes too, though. I mean, that's one of her key traits. But yeah.
I'll tell you, there's one character who could probably save Braxton from Kaylee, and that's Captain Dolio of the Purebloods.
Dolio is definitely a predominant character in Blue Dawn 6. We will get to see him.
Right here. Stand by.
We will get to see him several times.
Nice.
Very good. I just like what I now that I've seen that I've read Tenure, I've got a different picture in my head other than Braxton McCoy of when I hear the name Braxton.
By the way, I found this.
Robin Williams, thank you.
My wife was like, "Did you seriously have that made after Blade wrote the book?" And I'm like, "No, I had this already." But your blood patch. That's good. But you can also go to Patch Shops and find this one that is designed by Mrs. Tactical Wisdom. And it says, "Careful, I'll stuff you in the trunk and help people look for you."
Oh my gosh. I feel like this is like my daughter posting here. She keeps going around saying 6'7". I guess it's some like Gen Z kind of like internet meme.
Yeah.
What's that?
I have also seen that amongst the youths, and I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I looked it up, and I even after looking up, I didn't get it. So, all right.
Let's see.
Watcher, how you doing, brother? I felt like I kind of skipped you.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing good. Just house full of sick kids, cleaning up puke.
I was gonna say, are you feeling better?
Yeah, I was gonna say, at least I'm over it now. But yeah, they keep doing it. They can have the decency to all get it at the same time, but no, they have to catch it in rounds. So we're getting over the last one now. But yeah, fever spikes up to 104 for like 2 days, and then they're better after vomiting everywhere.
Yeah. Well, by the way, how's your toe doing?
So the infection's cleared up, but it does look like there's numbness in weird areas, and we're now like a month post surgery. There's numbness in some areas, and then there's quite a lot of pain. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. There's enough pain that I'm exploring with a different doctor. Like, hey, if we can't fix this nerve damage, I might just have you take this toe, because this is kind of fucking ridiculous. It makes it hard to walk.
Bro, that might be a bit extreme.
Yeah.
Like nerve damage is the kind of thing where I'm told by medical professionals we have in our chat that if they can't fix it in the near term, they're not likely to fix it in the long term.
Well, you definitely can't fix a lopped off toe, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but that is traditionally the answer for when you have a shall we say, non-necessary. You don't have to have all 10 toes, as Rulon Gardner proves.
Is it a big toe or
it's
is it
a big toe?
Oh yeah, I don't know that I would.
And then so it's not like I could walk without that's where the pressure goes, and so every time I walk, I get shooting nerve pain. It's it kind of sucks, man. Like I just went in to have toenails fixed.
It's the writer in me, but I think you should have it lapped off, encased in plastic, and wear it around your neck.
See,
because nothing says like a cool character than some guy walking around wearing his own big toe.
He gets it.
That is pretty baller, yeah. But it sounds more baller in a book than it does for somebody I know. All right. Anyway, let's jump into the private chat, or not private chat, into the odds and ends here. European stocks fall as France is plunged into crisis. I don't know if you. This is good, a different headline than what the actual story is. The story was her, and they changed it on me. I hate it when they do this. Yeah, because she's later on in the fucking story here. Let's see. Japan's Nikkei index jumped 5% to an all-time high as Sane Takahashi is first in line to become Japan's next prime minister. The yen slid almost 2% to the 150 per dollar point, while falling to a record low against the euro. So basically, this is Abe on steroids. She's like more hardcore than Abe, so this is a good thing. It says here the Takaichi, I guess is her name. Her surprise victory in a ruling party leadership vote in the weekend reduced expectations that the Bank of Japan may hike interest rates as soon as the month, while raising worries of more debt supply to financial stimulus. Overnight indexes. So anyway, I don't care about the financial piece of that. What I care about is her and Joe. I mean, come on. I mean, she's not as pretty as Malone. But she's every bit as based, and probably more based than any of the European kind of conservatives.
Yeah, and actually, I'll be honest, for a woman to win in Japan is a gigantic leap forward.
Yeah,
and a very sea change for Japan, right? Very big sea change. So, very interesting. Very interesting.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that. Watcher, can you pull up this link in the private chat?
Mm-hmm.
Japan gets their first female prime minister. American leftist. Yeah. She's a close friend of Shinzo Abe and even more conservatives.
Oh, no, hold on. I have to find the picture because she is essentially the main piece chick from that Akira anime. Like in her youth, she flat out rode the exact same motorcycles, dressed like her, everything.
Yeah. Here's a speech of her, so you can kind of get it from the horse's mouth. Japan's new, let me just read before you play the video. Japan's new female prime minister is a hardcore nationalist. Her plan to put a stop to immigration and deplore all illegals in her country. Congrats to the Japanese people. Your culture is beautiful and deserves to be saved.
That sounds like a big deal, but there's almost no immigration into Japan already.
Well, in recent years, there has been with the labor shortages. Same thing in Korea. So it's like when I go to the town near where I'm at, which has a lot of factories, it's like all Pakistanis.
Okay, so
yeah, this is
it's
her.
Ritsu. So she's basically Ritsu. Like I'm not even screwing around here. Anyhow, here's that video.
Yeah.
外国人との穏やかな。
All right. I'll have to read it. All right. So basically, if you go back to the beginning, as for me, I want to have a calm, mutually considerate relationship with foreigners. How we can live together in such a way, I intend to reconsider it completely. To think about it, I plan to think about it from a zero again, because year after year, the culture between us and everything else is so very different. Yet people are being brought in all together. To keep bringing them in this policy, we must pause and reconsider it. Oh, you mean like pausing the immigration of all these fucking foreign workers? Those who come with economic motives and claim to be refugees, such people will be properly sent home. Also, regarding those who overstay illegally, they too will strictly be required to obey the law.
I suppose what happened the last time we had a Japanese nationalist government? What didn't go so well for the Pacific, but it's a beginning thing.
Well, the irony is here is that when did it become, like, unless you're in a foreign country, when did it become like a bad thing to care about your country and to be proud of your country?
Yeah, nationalism is not a bad thing.
Well, since the International Communist Revolution kicked off sometime around 2014.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obvious neo-Marxism is what's working against us.
Washer, I know how we can solve your problem. Call a tow truck.
If you were 15, you would adapt after that one, I think. All right, moving on. Next story here. Oh, you know what? Before we
Okay.
go on, for every good politician, there's a fucked up one. I think this is a good opportunity to squeeze in Blaine's
right. Yeah.
story. Let's do that. Can you drop the link in the private chat so I can?
You
pull it
already
up?
did.
Oh yeah, Blaine put it in there. Oh, thank you.
Blade is always on the ball, dude. You don't have to ask Blade things twice.
Anyway, so Blaine,
I'll
this is
ask
your
my wife.
this is your American thinker piece. The party of hate and violence. This is. I assume you're going to be talking a lot about that whack job in Virginia, JJ whatever.
Jay Jones. It's
Jones.
amazing what he's done in like a week. I mean, because he got arrested for going 116 miles an hour on the road. He was given 1,000 hours of community service. He counted 500 hours of that as his own campaign work.
Oh my God.
That got released, and then these text messages came out where he basically was going after Todd Gilbert, who's the Republican leader in the House of Delegates, saying he literally fantasized about shooting him in the head twice. You had to shoot him twice. He'd only shoot Hitler and Pol Pot with one bullet, but he'd shoot Todd Gilbert with two, would kill his family and his children because he and his wife were raising fascists. Then he actually posted, and this is the part they aren't covering much in the media, he wanted the opportunity to piss on their graves.
Oh my God.
And he's running for the Attorney General of the state of Virginia. And Abigail Spanberger, who's running for governor, came out and said, boy, what he said was bad, but Trump is a lot worse. And so nobody has abandoned this guy yet. For all of these heinous things that he's done, and he's running for the chief law enforcement officer, in essence, he's getting a pass. The Democrats are keeping him on the ticket. It's kind of like when Northam did that whole thing in blackface. They don't want to pull him.
What's the likelihood, Blaine, of this guy basically, and then not getting rid of him, basically pulling the whole ticket down?
It's actually very possible at this point. Winston Earl Spears, who's running as a Republican for governor, really did a killer campaign ad, because throughout all of this, Abigail Spanberger, ever since the death of Charlie Kirk, has been saying her new tagline is "Fuel the rage," or
let your rage fuel you. May I point out as well, Abigail, former CIA agent Spanberger.
Well, and let's be clear too. She claims she's law enforcement. She was a postal, law enforcement officer. When she says she's law enforcement, I looking for lost packages doesn't count with me. So, Abigail Spanberger has not distanced herself at all from him. As a matter of fact, she's still embracing him. So this actually has the potential of being that October surprise for the Democrats. And I don't think it's going to be pleasant for them.
Yeah. I just want to point out that they're acting this way partially because they're trying to drive the base, but there's another portion of the Democrats that are acting this way because that's what their base is demanding of them.
Well,
because there are no consequences for it.
True.
Well, I just got to believe there's still got to be 30% of people who generally vote Democrat who are not turned on by this kind. Will not turn out for this kind of.
I think you're right. I think this is poison for the middle as far as electoral politics go. But I think, look, I don't know why I have to say this at this point, but isn't it clear that the Democrats are signaling that they are beyond electoral politics?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, in Spanberger, I watched some of her posts up on X this weekend, and people are going, I want to vote for this guy now twice. They are not, to say it's the leadership is the problem isn't the issue. There's a lot of Democrats, and they've demonstrated it time and time again through Charlie Kirk and everything that's followed. They are a party of hate and violence. They are that's what they're about now, because they didn't get their way with getting Harris reelected, and since then, this is what they're about. They don't care that this guy did this. And anybody else, it would be a major scandal. And it's interesting because the local media is not, even the local news stations are barely covering it.
Yeah.
They don't want to cover it. And a lot of it is, you got to remember, a lot of these federal layoffs, et cetera, hit Northern Virginia. It was really a split between Northern Virginia and Maryland. So what Spamberger's been running all weekend is anti-abortion ads, because they really don't have anything left. They've fired every bullet in their gun, so they're down to the anti-abortion arsenal.
Hey, Blaine, whatever happened to that lieutenant governor that you guys had? What was her name?
Winsome Sears.
Yeah, that's who's running for governor.
Okay,
she's a gun-toting Marine.
Okay, I thought you said he at some point. That's what confused me.
Here's my favorite weirdo part about that. As long as we're talking about Winsome Sears and her "Let Your Rage Fuel You" campaign, she claims that her opponent fuels her rage. She, a white wasp, is enraged by a
black
strong,
woman
empowered.
Yeah.
Well, no, not just a black woman, an actual strong, empowered, independent black woman.
Huh. Happens to be a Marine.
Let's be clear about how diverse the Republican ticket is in Virginia. We have a black woman former Marine, running for governor. We have a gay man running for lieutenant governor. We have a Hispanic first generation from Cuba running as the attorney general. You literally can't get more diverse than that.
Right.
No, and that kind of goes back to both the Bush and the Trump White House that bracketed the Obama administration. When you looked at the cabinets, very diverse cabinets on the Republican side, because they're actually, when you go for meritocracy, you have a natural diversity in that, because only idiots think that only white men are high functioning, right? You have high functioning people in every community. Then when you look at Obama's cabinet, it was very, very milquetoast, very white.
Yep. I think the only thing that can save the Democrats at this point is dropping him, and it'll cost them the attorney generalship. But it's the only way to save face. Honestly, this could be the thing that puts Spears in the governorship, which would be a good thing for Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, Virginia needs it because, man, you guys have had some tough lumps in recent years.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good kind of catch up there. Not too far up the street from Virginia, you got New Jersey. Authorities found another SIM network. Communist China is operating to disrupt critical infrastructure and enable criminal networks. HSI agents found 200,000 SIM cards in New Jersey, 2 times the 100,000 found in New York. If you remember, that was when Trump was at the UN.
Yeah.
It can send 30 million anonymous texts every minute and shut down self-services.
Yeah, whoa, hold on. Sorry. My mic's on.
The federal agents discovered additional locations and more equipment as they work to determine the ultimate goal of what the Secret Service said was a China-linked plot that would have crippled every cell tower in the nation's largest city, jammed 9/11 calls, and unleashed chaos on communication networks. It's almost, Joe, if you need a backup radio to be able to get a hold of people.
Say it ain't so.
I mean, what do I know? Let's see. Agent security investigations found an additional 200,000 SIM cards at a New Jersey location. That's double the 100,000. Investigators secured each of those locations, seized the electronics, and are now trying to track down who rented the spaces and filled them with shelves full of gear capable of sending 30 million anonymous text messages every minute, overloading communications and blacking out cell service.
They're underselling it. When they're talking about the text messages, that is underselling it in the extreme. This got found because this was part of looking into the swatting of government people, not right-wing influencers and government people. I'm not sure if you're
Right.
aware of that, but like,
Yeah.
this whole thing got found as part of tracing down the wires of like Tim Pool's swatting and that kind of stuff. That's who was doing it. It was literally China trying to get U.S. Cops to kill their opponents overseas. Hey, wouldn't it be crazy if Watcher had literally talked to you about this as a tactic years ago on this very show?
That would be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, swatting. If you've been in the kind of the internet world, swatting is nothing new. But to see how China has weaponized this,
and think about it this way: they've used it in the small way so far, but you could absolutely do it again and get much bigger by literally taking the DDoS approach that they're talking about by using it through these text messages, and instead using it through automated LLM-driven voice calls. All at the same time, all over the country, and all being targeted SWAT calls to your political opponents in hopes that somebody gets killed.
Yeah, what I'm wondering is, what was the event they're planning to execute this? What is the? Because clearly, if you're doing this, it's not just to do the swatting stuff. If you're doing this to shut down communications, so what is their actual plan here?
Yeah, that's what I kind of like. The swatting, I think, is just something that's tangentially related to this. I think here's the thing: if they found 3 of these, there's got to be 30 of them out there.
Easily. No, yeah. I think that what you're looking at probably is 1 to 2 of these in every major metro in the U.S.,
if not more. Yeah. Hello, Northern Virginia. That's where I'd put a lot of them.
Yeah,
I would also. I'm sorry to say this, guys. I would also, frankly, be shocked if, when we get to the bottom of this, elements of our own intelligence agency weren't involved in helping them install this and keeping them quiet. Which is why it's coming forward now, is because those elements were probably removed.
Yeah. Yeah, the kind of the internal, kind of protection piece. Joe, I mean, just from a comm standpoint, I mean, this is a great time as any to kind of boost not only, to illustrate what can happen to everybody's most reliable form of communication, these little handy little cell phones that we carry around us. But how can we kind of back that up?
How could you back up your cell phone? Absolutely having a radio and a radio plan with your friends. Being ready to play radio, right? Like, hey, listen, if the phones are down for 2 hours, the top of the 3rd hour, we're all going to meet on a certain frequency and run a network to make sure everyone's okay, and to check things out. You should always have some sort of a guard frequency, right? This is the absolute emergency channel we're going to drop down to. And then there's a thing out there called the Channel 3 Project, which is basically like, if you're in a preparedness at the top of the hour, every hour, you should be on channel 3 of whatever service you use, MERS, GMRS, whatever, and be listening for folks who need help or to offer help. So radios are the way to go, and they don't have to be these $3,000 to $4,000 Motorola handheld units like this. They can be a little Baofeng or a nice big Baofeng like this AR-5 that's like $70. Get you a radio, get it programmed, get trained up on how to use it, so that you right there are more prepared to stay in touch.
Yeah. Well said. Real quick before we go any further, I want to kind of recognize all the people who supported the channel today. Kaiser John is a monthly supporter over on Rumble. Thank you very much.
Which is surprising because he's been buying everybody else monthly memberships.
Well, yes. And then, not to be outdone, Loki LARP came in shortly thereafter and gifted 5 subs to the chat. So thank you for that, brother. Hunch Dirty Roofer for $5 says, can we also point out how little support Winsome Sears have been getting from the national GOP? That's a good point. These are two people who should be fucking stars of the Republican Party that I have not seen being boosted very much by national Republicans. Some of the MAGA folks have, but outside of that, I don't see it. Let's see. Let's go over. Am I good to go? I think I got one. Yeah, I already got the Mexican Iron Man one. Okay, so I'm caught up. Let's move on to Trump warns Hamas faces complete obliteration as deadline arrives to free hostages. So the deadline, kind of came over the weekend, and I guess there was a little tete-a-tete, and Trump is giving them a little slack. But my understanding is he's basically said there are certain things that aren't negotiable. President Trump on Friday had given Hamas a deadline of Sunday evening to release all remaining Israeli hostages, both living and dead, or else they would be hunted down and killed. They will be given one last chance. The deal also spares the lives of all the remaining Hamas fighters. That is, if they agree to fully disarm based on the White House's 20-point peace plan. So far, Hamas has said it's willing to release the captives, but indicated it wants to enter negotiation on other points, which is presumably happening through mediators. But Trump has demanded the Palestinian militants group act quickly. On Sunday, Trump told CNN that Hamas faces complete obliteration if it doesn't comply to disarming and it attempts to cling to power in Gaza. Based on this, I think it was a kind of a Q&A that Trump answered. He basically said, it sounds like the three things that he's kind of going to go to the mattresses on are the hostages, basically there being no more Hamas, and that none of the people who are part of Hamas could be in charge.
Which they're debating, and I'm
right.
sorry,
they want to debate that, but I get the feeling that's not going to get them very far.
Well, look, it should have got them as far as when the original deadline was. I hate to tell a story, but it's a famous story amongst the Marines, and back in the Iraq and Afghanistan days when we get there, a lot of times there'd be a curfew, and sometimes you'd be out patrolling, and apparently one time somebody was riding home, and it was just right before curfew hit, and somebody anyhow 15 minutes prior, right? That's what I'd have done. Is okay, you guys want to renege on this again like you've done on every single thing you've ever done? All right, cool. Well, 15 minutes prior, we'll just start obliterating.
So starting shooting people when they still have the ability to be out?
Yes, because they're not going to do it. They were never going to do it. They're still not going to do it.
All right. All right. So Palestinian sources say that little has changed on the grounds after the Israeli government ordered a pause to the ground defensive. Aerial bombardments are still going strong, according to Al Jazeera. Interestingly, Axios is reporting of ongoing deep tensions behind the scenes between Trump and Netanyahu over the Gaza peace plan. The publication said that Trump over the weekend called his Israeli counterpart to discuss the good news of Hamas saying they would cooperate with the peace deal. Axios writes that Trump expressed frustration to Bibi. Yeah, I heard this quote. I thought this is pretty good. Bibi told Trump that this is nothing to celebrate and that it doesn't mean anything. The U.S. official with knowledge of the call told Axios, I don't know why you're always so fucking negative. Take this. This is a win. Take it.
Well, no, I'm sorry. He's so negative because why? Look.
I understand.
We got an agreement
from
people who have lied about everything.
Yeah, we agree with you, Watcher. It's the problem is you can't. This is ultimately the problem with negotiating with terrorists, right? Is that you just can't do it because if they're going to be terrorists, they'll lie in negotiations.
What? No.
Yeah, I know. Surprising, Joe. It's really surprising.
And they'll use it to make you look like an idiot in every opportunity they can. So you
in
just
private
won't negotiate
consultations
with
on Friday, Netanyahu stressed that he viewed Hamas's response as a rejection of the Trump plan. He said he wanted to coordinate with the U.S. on the response to avoid a narrative that Hamas had answered positively, an Israeli official told Axios. So, yeah, I'll be interesting to see where this goes because basically Trump is trying to take this as like it's a negotiation. So like you would negotiate with any other, like honest broker. The problem is that's not what we've got here. Blaine, what's your kind of take on this? Did you follow any of this kind of drama on Sunday with the peace negotiations?
Yeah, the thing about offering a peace plan is it always tells you the people who don't want peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Trump desperately wants that war to end for all the right reasons. I just don't know if you can trust Hamas. I mean, Hamas has demonstrated itself throughout its entire history to not be trustworthy. So, this is going to be a tough haul. And they think what's interesting is that they believe they're in a position to negotiate. And their real position is either bend the knee or get obliterated, because that's how this is going to go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Joe, any thoughts on this whole fucking nut roll in Hamas land?
As a Marine, I will stick with the standard Marine Corps policy of negotiating with terrorists is moronic and idiotic. You kill them. You don't negotiate with them.
Yeah, you issue a declaration, you tell them what you want, you give them a deadline, and when they don't meet it, you kill them.
They're literally just buying for time to enable them to better prepare. That's all they're doing.
My question is that if Trump calls the deadline on Sunday or on Tuesday or whatever, like when he actually gets to where his magical deadline in his head is, what's he going to do? I mean, is he going to commit?
What you're doing is just showing weakness by not holding yourself to your deadline and getting
Yeah, what I'm talking about is no matter when the deadline is and when the clock is out on Trump's timeline, what is his action? What is the action he is going to take?
Supposedly the action is letting Israel go because Israel is already on the ground doing a ground invasion.
I'll be honest. The reason why you haven't seen the action is because he didn't think that far ahead. He thought his statement would be enough, and now it's like, oh.
Okay, thank you. You kind of got to where I was kind of thinking because I don't know that he has any real action he can do other than saying that he endorses Israeli kind of action, and they were already doing that action. So it's not like it's not like he's getting them to do something they weren't doing.
82nd and 101st are going in tomorrow.
Right. I don't know. I think that there are some things he could do. We could certainly have air assets in the area ready to go.
I mean, you could bomb. The U.S. forces could do that. I just don't know that.
I don't think that we have the political will to do that, especially since, for whatever reason, we seem to be building up everything we can in Southcom. So
yeah. I don't see us diverting a whole lot of. I mean. About the only thing that you could task over there would be like bombers, right? Fly over there, drop some bombs, and fly back, right? And then they're basically back in the queue for whatever goes on with Venezuela.
Just see what
well, the only thing holding everybody back is.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Blaine.
The only thing holding everybody back is the thought that there are actually hostages that might be alive, and. I think at this point that isn't the case. And I hate saying that, but I would be shocked if any of these hostages are still alive at this stage.
Same.
That's true.
I'd be shocked if it was greater than 10%.
Yeah. Blaine, have you been paying any attention to Venezuela? We haven't really talked to you since then.
I love nothing is more funny than somebody playing Red Rover, send your hellfire over. Um, it's just kind of hilarious watching these boats blow up. I had one that I put on a loop for probably 5 minutes because it was just entertaining to watch.
I even showed my daughter. I was like, "Hey, check this out. You want to see what it looks like when a speedboat isn't fast enough?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "What is that? What happened to it?" And I was like,
I
"That's
love
a
the
missile."
Democrats are all outraged about it. So it's like, oh, so you're now pro cocaine. I guess I should have known that after Hunter Biden.
Well, they were always pro cocaine. They just, they just wanted cheap cocaine.
Hey, speaking of speedboats being fast enough, yesterday while we were going to dinner, my wife was driving me and another guy, and this apparently private vehicle. I say apparently because when I tell you what it was towing, you'll say it was probably not a private vehicle. It was towing a 3-engine, 27-foot rib. So I'm pretty sure it was probably not actually a private vehicle, but it made me realize I still want one very much badly.
Those are for sale out there in the world, aren't they?
They are, but they're pretty few and far between. Although I do recall me and another guy discussing a purchase of one for the use of the forces of Montana, but we did not. So
let's see. Is there a brand like in particular?
No, I don't know if they come in brands. But
I mean, I Ribcraft USA. I'm just looking. Just looking to see what the price point on these things are. Man, that's got to be it. Here we go. Military. Joe, just so you can geek out while you don't have anything to say, this is where I'm looking in the private chat.
I see a Titan 33 for $240,000. Okay. Yeah. Well, that one's missing a letter in Ribcraft, but okay.
Yeah, good one, Mrs. Watcher.
The DoorDash got blown up. Anyway, there's some pretty cool looking boats in there.
Oh, there are. Yeah, it looked like one of these.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite is the people who are like, "Oh, these are fishing boats," and then you look at the boat and it's it's freaking 40-foot long, has 0 deck space, 4 engines, not a single tacking for fishing lines.
It didn't say what they were fishing for.
What I liked was
right.
There were I saw a like this guy basically videotaped a flatbed going somewhere in the continental United States, and it had 2 like kind of tricked out Hiluxes on it. And he's like, "Man, these are Hiluxes. These are so cool. Who is getting these Hiluxes? These are brand new, blah, blah, blah." And, looking at them, I was like, I know where those are going.
Yeah.
They're not going to stay in America very long, buddy.
Well, the guy who is staying here last night and tonight, he just came from a training center that had a couple Hiluxes, and I know where they got theirs, right?
Yeah. So. All right. Joe, you want to talk a little bit about tactical-wisdom.com?
Yeah, I think that every single person on here should, as a Christmas gift for someone in their family, head on over to tactical-wisdom.com and buy at least one book and send it out to someone. It's a great thing. Give someone the gift of preparedness, the gift that keeps on giving. Buy some books there or on Amazon. I don't care where, as long as you buy them somewhere. And get people going along and get people started down the path of preparedness. By the way, while you're there, you can head on over to training courses and sign up. We still have a couple of seats left, although there are a lot of folks there. A couple seats left in the Fieldcraft course that is coming up the 21st to the 23rd down at the good old Brush Beater Training Center. We'll be hanging out with NC Scout there the day after Fieldcraft is over. We roll into the Scout and Recce courses there. So for 9 straight days, we'll be in the field training people things on how to do things. The weekend before that, the 17th through the 19th, we'll be in Harmony, North Carolina at the mountain readiness. I'll be teaching land navigation. Matt will be doing a nighttime driving and thermal/nods demonstration. And we're going to have a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of people there. Angry American will be there, allegedly. Angry American, wink, wink. And a lot of other friends. So come hang out. A lot of guys from the chat will be there. I know, most importantly, that Doc Clark will be there because he has the job of selling me out of all of my first aid books. And I ordered a whole case of them just for you, Doc. So it's going to be a great, great time. Come out and spend some time with us. Meet us and maybe come sit around the campfire and have a beverage and a cigar, and we'll hang out and tell tall tales. So join us. As Saran, none of my books go that hard to the paint. There's a Bible quote at the beginning of each chapter, but other than that, it's just straight preparedness information. So none of them go hard in the paint.
Yeah. It's very kind of like common sense. There's nothing preachy about it.
Yeah, that stuff's all in the background.
All right, let me do the brush beater ad. All right, so tonight we're talking about high threat against ICE and the Antifa-fueled street fights tearing through our cities, specifically Portland and Chicago, and literally any place with an ICE facility could face that. With law enforcement under fire and the chaos in the streets, it's time to gear up. Enter our sponsor, Brush Beater Store, led by Matt, aka NC Scout. With training and equipment to hold the line. When ICE faces danger or Antifa clashes erupt, Brush Beater's RTO course gives you the secure comms to stay connected, with coordinate through the mayhem, outsmarting agitators on the ground. Step up the advanced RTO course, mastering signal intel and electronic warfare to anticipate and disrupt threats. The tactical combat casualty care course trains you to treat wounds, ready for street brawls or ambush scenarios. For precision defense, the Kyber Optics MDO offers a close emitter red dot with shake awake and 50,000 hour battery life, perfect for targeting in those close quarter chaos. When injuries strike, you take that training you got with the TCC course and then apply it with the Tactical Operator Response Kit, which packs a tourniquet, chest seals, hemostatic gauze in a compact pouch for rapid response. Basically a good all-around IFAC. And then, so prepare at the Brush Beater's Yanceyville, North Carolina training facility or shop on brushbeater.store/collection/training or brushbeater.store/collection/optics. Use code CFC10 for 5% off. Optics, medical kits, gear, whatever. Orders over $100 shipped for free. Big thanks to Matt over at Brush Beater Store for backing Council on Future Conflicts. Visit the brushbeater.store, enter its code CFC10, and stand ready at... sorry. And stand ready when things go awry. Now back to the show. All right. Matt is always doing amazing things. I'm really looking forward to the mountain readiness stuff that comes out. God damn it, I should be there, Joe. But by God, my heart is with you guys. It would have been a whole lot of fun. I'm jealous of you guys in the chat who are going to be able to make it out there. So
yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun, man. It's good times, man. Good times.
Absolutely. Well, I should, but I can't. I can't just come.
The guys at Shield put out a pretty good ad for one of their new products. I'm trying to find it right now.
Yeah, let's spread the word. Help our brothers over at Shield Arms out.
Hold on, let me. I know how to find it. There it is. Come on. Here we go. Let me make it. Let me embiggen it, and then we can watch it here.
What?
Oh, that did not work.
Huh.
There it is. Stand by. It's for real. I'm really slow at this because I am no watcher. Share screen. Here we go. All right. Ready? You got it up? Come on.
Yeah.
Take a second.
Yeah.
Remember that thing that we've been working on that everybody told us we couldn't do?
Yeah.
Well, we get it.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Show me.
All right, walk me through this. So you got a Glock 17 with a 20-round mag flush fit, and you got a Glock 19 with an 18-round mag flush fit.
Wow. So +3 for both platforms.
That's right. Don't see him run.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
$20-round mag. That's
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
So, anywho, I think that'll be cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good stuff.
Well, you know, I mean, do you remember, Joe, like back in the day when, like, actually, I don't know that either of us remembers it because it came out back probably before we were born, but the whole, just how hot it was having that +1 magazine for a 1911. I think like in the 70s, it was like pretty revolutionary.
Oh yeah, mine have the +1 for the.
Yeah, most do now. That's pretty standard nowadays, but yeah, this is definitely +3, man. That's all right.
Oh, you know what? The best part of my evening last night, I forgot to tell you this because somebody mentioned radios in the chat. It's introducing someone in the tactical world to the joy that is not a Rubicon. Okay.
Oh.
And so we watched a series of Randy's videos last night, and he was like, "How have I never seen this guy?" I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, Randy is the stuff, man. Those of you who want to learn radio, head over to YouTube and check out the Not a Rubicon. Get on it.
Yeah.
Dude was really cool. I actually met him before I met Joe because way back in the early 2020 days, I was like, oh my god, I need to figure out how to stay online if shit happens so I can keep hearing about everything that's going on. And reached out and helped me, even though at the time he had a bunch of far left followers who were like, that guy's a Nazi. He was like, no, he's cool. Everybody can learn. Not a Rubicon, really good guy.
Yeah, I've never met him or anything like that, but I love his content on X for sure.
Do you want a brief bit of breaking news real quick before we move on?
Oh yeah, let's go. Oh yeah. Wait a second. Oh, this is yeah. Go ahead and if you've got something to play.
Hold on, let me address some laziness. Y'all need a link. I just told you how to find the guy's page. Do something for yourself. Literally anything. Like go to YouTube and search for it yourself. Honestly. I'm too lazy to go search for it myself. Could you search for it for me and drop me a link? No.
So
rant over. I'm sorry.
In a stunningly French twist.
I can barely hear Watcher.
Yeah, you went real quiet again.
In a stunningly French twist, the new Prime Minister of France, Sebastian Who Cares, has resigned one day after unveiling his government. So, hooray, France! Their government has yet again collapsed after a single day.
This isn't news. The French surrendering is never news. It's expected behavior.
Well, but now they're surrendering to themselves.
I know.
It's a phenotype. Yeah, Blaine, it's a phenotype of the French society. Yeah. Guys, I'll let you guys go around the horn on this one. What do you think? Joe, anything? Blaine, anything?
Well,
I got nothing.
I don't think it matters. France hasn't been a real player on the world stage in a long time. What's going to happen next is a bunch of strikes in the streets. They're always striking in the streets.
Yeah, it's not new, right?
Let's go burn down some cathedrals. Let's be on protest, whatever. I mean, France has been like in constant turmoil for the last 10 years.
Call me about France when Le Pen takes power.
Yeah, so when Macron is gone, then I'll talk about it. But I think I do have a comment about this. There we go.
Cue up the Pepe Le Pew.
Lance Corporal Veteran for $2 says surrender is a French feature, not a bug.
It's also a default setting for them.
That's exactly
it must
right.
be when you got the job. It's like, here is your new desk set and your white flag.
So the title of the video today is Anti-ICE Insurgency. And just to kind of tee this up, I want to play this clip from Donald Trump because I think his use of the word insurgency is very important, or insurrection.
Portland is burning to the ground. You have agitators, insurrectionists. All you have to do is look at the television, turn on your television, read your newspapers. It's burning to the ground. The governor, the mayor, the politicians are petrified for their lives. And you have a judge like that, that judge ought to be ashamed of himself.
Joe, what do you think of when you hear the word insurrection?
I think of the Glorious Insurrection Act. Which
yes.
enables the use of military force by the commander-in-chief, including the National Guard, whether the governor likes it or not, to put down an insurrection. And what is the definition of an insurrection? Well, under the Sedition Act, it means the violent resistance to the enforcement of federal law, which is what we're seeing all over the country. So, problem, nowhere in any of these acts does it say, as long as the governor agrees or as long as the mayor agrees. There's no permission there. Supremacy clause of the Constitution guarantees the president's right to do what he needs to do in this particular case.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you can say that areas are under insurrection, so it becomes like a regional thing. Like, so for instance, he could declare an insurrection within Portland, and then that would give them broad powers to kind of go after that threat, even if it's not just Antifa. He could say Antifa is essentially an insurrection, and then go after Antifa wherever they may be, and anybody who identifies themselves as Antifa.
No, I think you just declare that certain zones are in a state of insurrection, and that enables you to pick up folks, regardless of color or stripe, who are out there taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, I was just saying there's a couple different ways you could do it. I'm not saying which. I agree with you. I think the regional kind of way of using it, because that allows you to go after the mayor, the chief of police. I mean, because essentially these insurgent forces are being assisted directly by the police, the mayor, the city council, the local law enforcement, everything.
By the way, let me carry your thought one step further. A mayor telling his chief of police to stop cooperating with ICE or not respond to a request for assistance from ICE is a seditious conspiracy.
That's exactly right.
That is such a violation of the brotherhood of law enforcement. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I can't believe cops said, "Yeah, okay, I'm not going to go." Fellow cops are being shot at regardless of who they represent, and they said, "Nah, man, I ain't backing you up."
Well, picture it reversed. If they had called for aid from the federal government and the federal government said, "No, we're not going to come," there would be calling for Trump's impeachment instantly.
Yes,
in that
exactly.
case.
Exactly right. All right. So with that kind of as setting the tone, let's jump into the broader story here. Pritzker says Trump ordering 400 members of the Texas National Guard to Illinois, Oregon, and another location J.B. Pritzker says no federal officials contacted him directly to discuss or coordinate the 400-member deployment. Pritzker, if I remember correctly, is the governor of Illinois.
Yep.
Yeah, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker announced the deployment came as protests against federal law enforcement's ramp up across the country, particularly in Portland and Chicago. In the Windy City, multiple people were arrested in recent days for reportedly ramming their vehicles into DHS and ICE agents' cars after announcing Trump deployment on X late Sunday. Pritzker wrote that no officials from the federal government called me directly to discuss or coordinate. We must now start calling what it is, the Trump invasion, he says. It started with federal agents. It will soon include deploying federalized members of the Illinois National Guard against our wishes. It will now involve sending in another state's military troops. Let's see. Pritzker also disclosed that he called the Texas Governor Greg Abbott and immediately withdraw any support for his decision. But you know what? It doesn't matter if the governor supports this or not. This is a federal action that he has absolutely no, ability to counteract. I mean, this is how back in the 1960s you had the Mississippi National Guard, or was it Alabama National Guard? I can't remember which state it was, called up essentially to federalize so that they wouldn't be able to stand against federal forces that were brought in to allow those kids to, the desegregation of the schools. And, it's just once you get federalized, if you do not heed those orders, you are in mutiny.
Yeah, I think it's cute that JB Jumbo Buck Pritzker thinks he gets some sort of say in this, or that he's the one that's in control of this situation. Obviously, he's trying to position himself for a presidential run in 28, although the word run and Pritzker rarely are found in the same sentence.
That's exactly.
This is a guy, he has literally been opposed to every single thing that Donald Trump has done, and he continues to do this. I'm amazed that the people of Chicago are tolerating this absolute BS. And Portland has been this way since probably 2018 or earlier with Antifa, and they have just reached a point where they kind of tolerated all the crap that these people did, and now Trump's going, we're not going to do that anymore.
Let me take that a step further. Oh, sorry.
I think a lot of it is going to be that them pushing to try to keep Trump. They want to paint this that Trump's getting us into a civil war. Right. That's what the goal is.
Watcher.
Oh, I was just going to say, never forget that the Pritzkers are the number one funder of the trans agenda, both in America and internationally. They use their immense family fortune to push it. And they have been the number one individual donor to all kinds of trans and Trantifa-related causes for a while. So I think for Pritzker, this is also somewhat personal, because I think he's watching everything he and his family have been trying to build in this color revolution either crumble or come to a head.
Yeah, he's pot committed, really, on this one.
So a couple things in the chat that I want to address. First of all, Scylla calling him Governor Flintstone was absolutely beautiful.
Exactly right.
And now I can't unsee it. So
I can't either. That's exactly very good.
Jowls.
Diatica said the last time someone tried to argue this was Fort Sumter. That's a very good point. And somebody asked, can't the CIC just federalize them? Absolutely, 100%. And it's crazy here. But I urge you to go around and watch all of the leftist media that's been put out in the last 18 months and compare it to where we are now. They all feature resistance to an overpowering central government, which is absolutely ridiculous because they spent years being an overpowering central government. But all of their things have been about resisting some sort of an overreaching government. So be prepared. The Color Revolution playbook is exactly what they're using. And the language they're using of resisting and invasion and all of that is meant to drive us to the point of civil war.
Yeah.
And you might say, well, we shouldn't take the bait. Well, you can either take the bait or suffer the consequences for letting them do what they want.
Yeah, this is all tied even to the stuff we were talking about in the odds and ends with what was going on in Virginia with J. Joe.
Yeah.
They are a party of violence at this point, and this is what they've got. They've run out of everything else.
Yeah,
they are
violence
down
is all they
to
have
nothing
left.
but violence.
Well, and I think we should be clear about what we need to what the step we're at is. The step we're at is now trying to convince anybody who is still reasonable, who's been on that side out of fear or out of whatever reason, that like step away from the people who are ready to launch a revolution and use violence, because it's not going to be pretty. And if you simply step away from them and disable their political power, it actually probably doesn't have to get that violent.
One of the things that I wanted to, Joe, I wanted to get your thoughts on this whole with the National Guard mobilizations. We referenced the the 60s when the National Guard was mobilized so that the states couldn't use them to enforce segregation. This is not that, but that just kind of goes to show you that this is when they get a mobilization order, that's a very hard, you got no options.
Yeah. If you don't, you're hit with missing troop movement, right?
And if it's done at any kind of systemic level, then you're essentially an insurrection, or in those units are in a state of mutiny.
Yeah, you are technically at that Fort Sumter moment, right?
Yeah.
And then his option is to enforce a military law against them or let the states do what they want. It becomes tough. I want to take Blaine's thought a little bit further. Portland has been this way since the World Trade Organization meeting in 1989.
That's a good point.
And it hasn't gotten any better, right?
So the next image isn't an image; it's a GIF. But I have to prep you for this. This is a protester in front of the Portland ice facility, I believe, that got arrested and decided he was going to try and create an issue for the police that were arresting him, and they decided, oh hey, look, a cart for hauling luggage.
Watcher, that's the punchline of the whole show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just scrolling down the article you gave me.
I honestly didn't know that it was in there, but it's if you look at the last link on the segment 2, it's literally that.
Let's be honest. Every one of us wants to see these hard-boiled Texas National Guardsmen, good old boys, going up to Chicago and opening a can of whoop ass. Because I got to tell you, man, it ain't going to go down the way they thought.
The irony is the irony, Blaine, is that that's the old kind of authoritarian's playbook, is to bring people from one region to oppress the people of another region, right? But in reality, the people who are in the National Guard, I guarantee these Illinois National Guard guys want to crack skulls too, because living in there, I mean, if you're a suburban kid from Aurora or someplace like that, you grew up out there, what's going on is probably pissing you off more than anything. You probably have to hide the fact that you're Trump in class, and now that you joined the National Guard, you're ready to give me my fucking club, my riot shield, and let me at these motherfuckers. I don't think you have to cast a wide net to get people who are ready to crack skulls in the street when it comes to these Antifa folks.
Hey, Matt corrected me. I said it wrong. It was 99. You're correct. 99.
I do have a question about this federal ruling, this federal judge. How do they even claim to have jurisdiction over this?
Oh yeah. The federal judge that is trying to. Well, they're getting ready. I think this is the California one, right? Hold on a second.
It's Oregon. I want to say
it's Oregon, but California's jumped in on it.
Yeah.
I'm just looking to see if that's in the story here. Yeah. Hold on a second. I think it's not further down in the story. So let me start the story here. Newsom says Trump is sending 300 California National Guards to Oregon. President Trump is sending 300 members of the California National Guard to Oregon after a judge temporarily blocked him from deploying the Beaver States Guard to Portland, California. Newsom said. Newsom vowed to fight the move. The White House on October 5th didn't immediately confirm the deployment. California National Guard referred questions to the Department of War. A War Department spokesperson declined comment. Now, Joe, this is one of those kind of like the biggest legal smackdowns that you could probably get is what this guy will get probably within the next 48 hours from the Ninth Circuit. I mean, this is just one of those kind of powers that is in the fucking Constitution. I mean, the president has the power to call up the militia or the National Guard or whatever they call it, and definitely the way it was the military was designed. This is not even a question. I mean, basically, a federal judge that says that they can say no, that the state can say no, basically is arguing for the states to be able to oppress their own citizens with the National Guard. So
George Washington did this with the Whiskey Rebellion.
Yeah,
this goes back all the way to our first president. So, when you have somebody that rebels against the authority of the federal government, you have the right to send in the troops and round them up and bring that to an end. It's really simple.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me continue on here. The Trump administration is unapologetically attacking the rule of law itself and putting into action their dangerous words, ignoring court orders and treating judges, even those appointed by the president himself, as political appointments. Well, I mean, if they do something stupid, then you have to treat them correctly. The commander-in-chief is using the U.S. military as a political weapon. I don't want to hear any more of his stuff. Federal judge on October 4th temporarily blocked Trump from deploying the Oregon National Guard to Portland in response to violent protests targeting immigration officers. The country has a long-standing and foundational tradition of resistance to government overreach, says the judge in her opinion. That's fucking crazy. Joe, what do you think?
That's absolutely ludicrous because he didn't deploy them to enforce civil law. He deployed them to protect federal property, which is well within his rights. It's not like they were at the town square protesting in the city park. They were literally attempting to dismantle a federal building.
Right.
The president has always had the ability to use military force to prevent that.
Let's see. National Guard in Portland and Chicago. Portland's ICE building has been the scene of nightly protests, and Trump described Portland as a war zone rife with crime and unrest. Trump called the Chicago a war zone. Yeah, because it is. There's a reason why we call it Chirac. Trump ultimately authorized the deployment of 300 Illinois National Guard on October 4th to protect federal agents and assets in Chicago. Did you hear that, Joe? That was the key thing. Protect federal agents and assets.
Correct.
The White House
absolutely the right to do that.
Amidst ongoing violent riots and lawlessness, the local leaders like Pritzker have refused to step in to quell. President Trump has authorized 300 National Guardsmen to protect federal officers and assets. President Trump will not turn a blind eye to the lawlessness plaguing American cities. You know what was interesting is how many people showed up in their vehicles at these protests, basically to give these protesters a piece of their mind. I think the regular people are just fucking embarrassed by the behavior in their own city, right? I mean, yeah, like most of the people who live in Portland are pretty liberal, but they're just also normal people, right? They're liberal because that's their tribe, not because they co-sign any of the stupidity that they see going around them. If anything, the biggest thing I criticize them for is not standing up sooner to this kind of shit, because like you said, Joe, it's been going on since '99.
It's been on for a long time, and it's crazy.
I watched the NBC coverage of it, and it's so funny because they had the mayor on in Portland talking about what a great city they have. Then they ran a bunch of stock footage of people walking through peaceful parks and walking their dogs and playing frisbee and doing all this stuff. And it's like, Yeah, but why don't you show the footage of what's going on around the ice center? Don't tell me that you have this great peaceful city when you have a riot going on in one part of it.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I shocking to say that CNN has brought us some very cogent kind of moments of sobriety in this whole thing. If you go to the next link, Watcher, it's essentially Scott Jennings unloads on leftists calling Antifa attacks protests. So just go straight to the video here.
Predicate is that Portland has been occupied by Antifa for quite some time. You guys keep calling them protests. These aren't protests. These are violent people. They're attacking law enforcement. They're attacking federal facilities. The President of the United States has every obligation to defend federal facilities and federal personnel there. I agree with you. It is a disgrace. It's a disgrace that we have an American city that is essentially being occupied by left-wing radicals, and the locals won't do anything about it. And so now the president,
exaggeration of what's
it is
happening
not
in
an
Portland.
exaggeration.
I mean,
I see the video.
by local officials has been described as something that's essentially happening in one city block of Portland.
They are assaulting the ICE facilities. They are assaulting the ICE agents.
It's a city, and it's not a.
I'm just going to pause and say I love this new legal route that they're taking. That as long as you're doing a bunch of crime and it stays in one block, then how can you really complain or even respond to it? You know what I'm saying?
But that's not even true. The whole one block thing is not true either.
No, of course it's not. But it's a pretty novel and fun legal argument if you literally just toss it right back at them.
Right.
It is a city, and something occurring in one city block is suddenly Portland is war ravaged.
Do you dispute that they've attacked the ICE facility?
I didn't say anything about that. I said that it's happening in one block of the city.
Is that
so?
How many blocks is it?
Does that constitute Portland being a war-ravaged city?
I think what's happened in Portland is a disgrace. Nobody wants to go there. And yes, parts of the city are ravaged by these protesters, and federal
would you describe
officials
the city as being
believe their facilities are under attack.
When there are violent protests, which, by the way, nothing new about violent protests, as you know.
So it's not new, so we should let it go.
When violent protests happen, law enforcement has a responsibility to handle it. But would you describe an entire city as war-ravaged when there are protests, even if they're violent, that's happening outside of a single building?
Yes, I would say if there are violent protests happening against a federal facility, they are being ravaged. I completely agree with that language.
Okay,
whatever. Oh my God, she needs a good slap. I mean, you said it, not me, brother.
A good slap would not help.
Really wouldn't. No, the only cure is to literally discard these people. They shouldn't be in any position of power. They shouldn't be in front of a microphone. They shouldn't be in front of a camera. They didn't finance themselves.
Oh yeah. By the way, I just want to say, Vocal Fry is like one of my huge. Oh, I hate that.
Oh well, I mean, I understand. I agree with you. But it is it's funny you would hone in on that because it is one of the it's essentially. Do you remember back in the day when they invented this whole dialect, the whole
oh yeah,
I can't remember the thing, and only the affluent people, and it was a sign that you were affluent, right?
My job, my profession is communications. I absolutely know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And upspeak is another big part of it too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's insane. Well, I learned it in the radio world because you watched all of these people that came out of the institutions that would all track that way, and you're like, that's awful garbage. Stop. But they kept hiring each other. No, it's fucking terrible, and it's literally like one of their little signs that I'm in the inside club.
Anyway, I thought that was a great clip. It's just really illustrative of the kind of the cognitive dissonance that goes on inside the heads of these fucking losers. Now, tangentially related, but not. It's ICE, but it's not just Antifa that is a threat to these men and women as they go to do their jobs. Cartels docs set $10,000 bounty to kill U.S. immigration officials. Cartels have doxed and put bounties on the heads of several federal immigration officials, offering $10,000 to kill or $2,000 to kidnap. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem revealed on Sunday she did not specify whether the bounties applied to particular agencies such as ICE or the U.S. Border Patrol. But let's be honest. Does anybody outside of people who actually know the difference really make any kind of distinction between the two? I don't think so. They see Border Patrol. What's that?
I think the cartels do.
Well, the cartels know the difference, but I'm just saying, like, people will call the Border Patrol ICE and vice versa. We have then you've got the confusion of CBP versus BP, which is they're two different organizations. We have specific agents who have had bounties put on their heads. It's been 2,000 to kidnap, 10,000 to kill them. They've released their pictures. They've sent them between their networks. It's an extremely dangerous and unprecedented situation. So it sounds like she actually has inside information, intel that is not just like some sort of bolster, boisterous.
Border Patrol has a very aggressive counterintelligence program because there have been a number of cases, kind of like Mark wrote into a book, where ICE agents and Border Patrol agents have been compromised and turned and provide schedules and names and who are the top performers in certain Border Patrol sectors or who are the top seizing agents at ports of entry for customs. So I believe wholeheartedly that the cartels have gotten very detailed information. I didn't need DHS Barbie to tell me so.
Yeah, and I'd like to comment as well that I think that this headline is actually misleading. She mentions the cartels specifically, but they ask her who's targeting, and she says she doesn't want to go into that specifically. And then when she says it, she uses very specific wording that terrorist groups that the president has designated, as well as other terrorist groups. So it's very clear that Antifa is part of this, and that's been clear too. Yeah. They've had this online. They've been not only targeting ICE agents, but their children and wives.
This specifically right here, she goes, Noem did not reveal which specific groups were issuing the bounties, saying only it's gangs, it's cartel members, and it's known terror organizations.
Yeah. You want me to play the clip?
Yeah.
Intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more people on their team as far as attacking officers, and they're making plans to ambush them and to kill them. We have specific officers and agents that have bounties that have been put out on their heads. It's been $2,000 to kidnap them, $10,000 to kill them. They've released their pictures. They've sent them between their networks, and it's an extremely dangerous situation and unprecedented. So we've put protective detail around those individuals, changed some of our operations to keep our officers safe. But make no mistake, this isn't just about, protesting free speech or that they don't like that people out here are upholding the law of our country. They're actually going out there and saying, kill these people and we'll give you this much money to do it. Intelligence.
If you don't think these guys are under threat, there's a reason why they fucking wear those masks. It has nothing to do with just political correctness.
It's COVID, bro.
That's right. Long COVID. They all got the long COVID. All right, moving on to segment 2. This is a kind of good transition. Basically, we're going to get into kind of the street level fight here. ICE agents ambushed in Chicago as Trump deploys National Guard. ICE agents were rammed and boxed in by 10 cars in Broadview, Illinois on Saturday, according to the Department of Homeland Security. According to McCullough, the officers were forced to deploy their weapons and fired defensive shots at an armed U.S. citizen. The armed attacker, a woman who is a U.S. citizen who was named in a Customs and Border Patrol CBP, not Customs and Border Patrol.
She's been doxing ICE agents.
Yeah, Joe, if I remember correctly, we covered a story where we showed how they're following and taking pictures of license plates numbers, and they're doing what they can to basically spoil ICE movements and whatnot inside these cities. It sounds like they kind of escalated those tactics. Let's see. Allegedly doxed agents online, posting online, "Hey, all my gang, let's fuck those motherfuckers up. Don't let them take anyone."
That right there tells you who it was. If you recall, there was a Chicago City Councilwoman who said this famously on a news channel, and those are the exact words she said.
Right.
So I believe it was probably that Chicago Councilwoman.
The firefight took place as agents were purportedly performing a routine patrol in the Broadview, a suburb of Chicago. No agents were injured in the incident. The woman involved drove herself to the hospital to get care for wounds. How did she drive herself to the hospital?
Okay, so here's the situation. So they boxed those officers in. The officers couldn't even get out of their cars, let alone move their cars. She starts brandishing a gun at them. They shoot her. She hops in her car and drives away. The cops still can't drive and also still can't get out of their cars.
Okay, so she kind of fled the scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Today in Chicago, members of our brave... Let's see, this is I don't want to read her statement. Hours earlier, in response to the plan by Donald Trump, federalized 300 members. So basically, this is something that happened later after the whole National Guard thing. I guess this would have been Sunday afternoon. This morning, it's absolutely out. So this is Trump's Department of War gave an ultimatum: call up your troops, or we will. Pritzker wrote, "It's absolutely outrageous and un-American that it demands." Blah, blah, blah. I don't care about him. All right. Anyway, I think we got the meat and potatoes of this. Joe, ambushing Border Patrol.
Hold on. I got. Before we get to that. It's un-American to demand a governor send military troops within our own borders. That's the entire point of the National Guard, right? To be deployed within our borders. Just because we've been deploying them outside the U.S. does not mean that was their original role. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go with your question, Scott.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, Joe, we've got to the point where they're actually kind of moving to the next level. They didn't fire on the Border Patrol guys, but that's literally the next step. They're boxing them in. They're attempting to deny them the ability to navigate the streets lawfully. This is people are going to start getting killed.
This was an ambush. It was not just because no rounds were fired by the attackers doesn't make it less of an ambush, right?
Yeah.
They waited till they had an opportunity. They blocked their route. And all of that. It could have gotten much, much, much worse. So I think that we are in an active insurgency, and it is escalating very, very quickly. And from here, it only goes faster.
Yep.
What's also important is you need to know how the mainstream media covered this. I watched it on NBC News' website, and they only reported that federal law enforcement had fired on a woman in Chicago. They omitted the fact for 24 hours that she actually had a gun and it had been involved in blockading the vehicle.
Right.
So you're dealing with this is not a local thing. This is national news is covering for these people. And this is a bigger problem.
You should send a copy of Blue Dawn 5 to J.B. Pritzker so he sees the rough handling that the Illinois National Guard gets at the hands of federal troops. Yeah. And he might learn a lesson there, right?
This goes even
I don't
deeper,
think
though.
he reads, Joe.
Well, that's true. That's true. If it's not a menu, he doesn't read
He's
it.
more of a meeting. He's more of an eating guy than a reading guy.
True.
Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna be
this
honest,
goes even further.
commentary is literally seditious, right?
Watcher, I don't think they can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead, Watcher.
Oh, let me turn myself up a bit.
I saw you light up,
So,
but I can't hear you. Go ahead.
so this goes even deeper because the incident didn't end there. The 9 cars kept blockading the officers. It took them quite a long time to extricate themselves out of the cars through the windows. Once they did, a crowd started forming about the shooting, and the Chicago police were asked to respond because that's in Chicago it's a 999 call, which is shots fired. And as the officers were starting to respond to that, the chief of police that was on duty at the time called them off of it over the radio, which is recorded. Like anybody who has access to the 911 call recording system, which is basically anybody who wants to log onto the website, can see him, the chief of police, flagging them off a shots fired call. So these federal agents after that had no support and also had no crowd control support. The feds had to rush in a tactical team in order to act as crowd control around this to even secure the scene.
I think
And in
what
all
Rogers,
honesty, the feds would have had a jurisdictional difficulty in doing so. It was the city's responsibility to respond to their aid, right, and hold back the crowd. Now, feds can step in and do it under what's called the Assimilated Crimes Act, but it should have been the city or state that did so.
Blaine?
let me tell you how this is going to play out, guys, because everybody's always going, well, where's this going to go? So I'll tell you the most likely scenario. You're going to end up in a situation where several federal law enforcement people are killed. It's going to happen because this is the stage that is being set. And this is the drama that's going to play out. And it's going to force Trump to come in with overwhelming force to put an end to this. And this is all drama to be played against. They're hoping for some excellent footage of civilians being beaten, etc., to play for the midterm elections. That's what this game is about right now. It's not about what's happening in Chicago and Portland. It's about setting the stage for the midterm elections. And they want to go, Donald Trump has gotten us into civil war. That's it.
And well, here's the thing. If the federal agents start dying, Trump has to come down like a hammer because that's the only option you have when you're in a situation where you have an enemy in the streets that's willing to kill federal agents without any kind of, and I hate to say it, but in those areas where it gets spicy, it'll be authoritarian. You have to use the authoritarian kind of moment in order to fix the problem, but then you have to pull back. It has to be very limited in its use. But you have to do it within the Constitution gives us all the tools we need. You don't need any new tools. You just use the constitutional tools, and you can do everything you need. Joe, I go back to the Insurrection Act. If a region, a city, or whatever is in insurrection, then you've got the tools to take care of it. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next are some posts. These are two from Nick Sorter. If you remember, he was the journalist who got arrested that got all the attention from the Trump administration. So he was back down, and he's been attacked again by Antifa. So this is Andy No.
Been assaulted here, and we're live, right? We got it. Okay. So now you're gonna get assaulted. You're gonna be pushed. You're gonna be. Don't do that. Where'd it go? Where'd it go, man? I got you. Oh, I'm fine.
Well, look who just had to screw up. The Portland police.
If you want audio, let me know. It's mostly just screaming.
He's screaming and stuff, yeah. I mean, Joe, you notice how the Portland police are never where they need to be when they need to be there, and even when they do show up, they don't do anything. They just fucking stand around like a bunch of...
You notice how Antifa is forming a secondary perimeter around them facing outward, giving the police support because the police are doing their bidding.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey,
they have a fucking communist for the police chief there in Portland.
But also, I want to... Look, guys, what do you think 2020... What do you think the effective effect of 2020 on the Portland police was? How many of the good police do you think
they
said,
all left.
fuck
All
this,
the
I'm
good
out?
police left. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then what do you think they had to do in order to get people in? Well, they lowered the standards, right? And when they lowered the standards, what did they do? Well, they reached out to the Antifa network and they asked, hey, who'd like a job? Not kidding.
All right. So the next one is kind of a continuation of that. Let's see. Just real quick, let me read the. Let's see. So they're claiming that they own the medical tents. Antifa isn't allowed to walk through them. That's the PDX Justice Center. This is a standard Portland police have set. So we'll see if the law is actually enforced. So let's listen to what he has to say.
Hey, what's going on, America? I know you guys just saw my video with Nick Sortor getting assaulted trying to walk down the street by Antifa. So here's what we're going to do. Because the Portland police, I don't think it matters if you want to walk down the street. Antifa's allowed to own this side of the street over here. These are alleged medic tents. So this is what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, this side of the street is going to belong to us. Because apparently you can just claim sidewalks in Portland as your own and prevent anybody from moving down them. So my curiosity is simply whether or not we are going to be held to the same standard as Antifa. Because I know for a fact that people that live in this building, because I've talked to them all day long, they are actually upset of all the tear gas, all the rioting, everything else that's going on inside that building. So I'm checking out my hotel tomorrow. And you know what? I'm a Green Beret. I've slept in a hell of a lot worse places than the streets of Portland. I need some folks to help me pull Firewatch. Get down here. We are literally setting up tents. Yeah. We're going to own that place. And honestly, if there's not a freaking tent right here tomorrow, I'm going to own that one too.
I love the spirit, but I will point out that the last several people who tried to contest this in Portland just properly decided to come armed because they will fucking kill you. They've killed in Portland before. But when you do come armed, it's magical how suddenly the Portland police can suddenly smell a gun from 3 miles away, hone right in on you, will arrest you on the spot, and you will get put away for Oregon's ridiculous gun laws. Utterly fucking ridiculous gun laws.
All right, let's... Joe or Blaine, you guys got anything to add to what we just saw in those two videos?
Other than the fact that when you look back over our show for the last however long, you'll see me pointing out that the coming fight will not be you against the government. It will be right-wing versus left-wing militia and street actions, with the government largely standing on the sidelines. That's what's happening in Portland. They arrested Nick not because he did something wrong. They arrested him because it was easier to arrest him than all of the people blocking the sidewalk. Solved their problem for the night, right? And that's where you have to learn to make good decisions.
I got a couple super chats. Let me catch up on here. All right. Random P&W guy. For $2 says to avoid the optics of troops in the streets and to avoid the Trump Civil War narrative, should Trump just be heavily leaning on the federal cops versus state National Guard to avoid the color revolution? No, I don't think you.
No, and there's not enough.
You use every tool that you have in the toolkit, and you tell people exactly why you're doing it, and you kind of maintain the offense on the information war. Here's what one thing that I would do. And I think we started to see this a little bit is like because Kristi Noem had Benny Johnson with her over the weekend and had him embedded and like they were walking around. I would make broad usage and invite conservative, non-traditional media to come and embed with the ICE forces and that are there. So they can see it from the other side and, and see humanize these guys a little bit without doxing who they are. So That's one of the things that I would consider. You want to continue to own the information space in these types of situations, so that because Antifa and the far left looks for ambiguous information environments so that it can own that narrative. So that's one of the things that I would do.
I will say real quick, as long as you said that, I've noticed that somebody else has decided to take that tactic and apply it, and he's done it brilliantly, and that's J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
The shutdown narrative, he got right ahead of that, and it was an ambiguous information environment. Why is the shutdown happening? Oh my gosh, the shutdown's happening. The Democrats are obviously queuing up to message about it, but J.D. got out ahead of it and said, it's because of illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. The whole visualization of troops on the streets was a little bit disgusting until we saw how dramatically it's worked in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And still, by the way, is continuing to work in Washington.
Well, I was going to say,
That's crazy how they've all shut up about it too, right? Like they were screaming, it's fascist, it's Nazi, and all of a sudden you don't hear a goddamn word about it now that they can go get coffee.
Well, Blaine, you're in that neighborhood. I mean, what's the feeling, in Northern Virginia on that topic?
Northern Virginia is such a solid blue block.
Yeah.
Anything that Trump says is treason. It's hate speech. It's everything. They literally are. They can't see past their rage at this point.
But they'd be more than happy to go back to their favorite alfresco dining place now that they've cleaned the streets up.
Oh, absolutely. They want all the benefits of a Donald Trump being in office without him being in office.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
They were also perfectly okay with it when Joe Biden did it. Right? When he deployed federal troops throughout Washington, D.C.
And put those fences up all over the place. They did that about 3 or 4 different times while he was president. So it's,
all those scary MAGA people. Ooh.
That's so despite the fact that this anarchy is going on in the streets outside of the ICE facility, some folks are getting rolled up. And shock of all shocks, I think this is actually either Oregon State Police or city cops arresting somebody.
I guarantee you, most of these cops. Oh my God! Look at him! Look at him! That's what you get, bro! That's what you get!
I want this guy narrating.
It's acting. Okay, this Portland police officer says it's acting.
And he came running up only when the cops went by.
What the guy's doing? Look, if you do it over the audio thing, is he's creating a scene. There's nothing wrong with that guy. He's creating a narrative for the video cameras.
And I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Turns out the guy who is narrating is also the guy who is seen in other videos getting kicked and then laying one of them out.
Yeah.
Up in my belly and spit.
He made contact with you?
He made contact with me. 100%.
And he spit at you?
Well, no, he was yelling and it spit in my face and it was disgusting as hell.
Okay, so it was like the spittle. Got it. Yeah, and now he's on the ground right now in handcuffs.
Oh my God, that hurts. Hurry up, give me up.
Oh! Stay on that side. Yes, sir.
The only thing we're not hearing is him screaming, "I can't breathe."
Well, I figured this guy is a big fan of Brazilian soccer.
Oh.
Boy, look at that patch. It looks like a patch I have on a coat, but I don't know where that coat is. Never mind.
Wouldn't be awesome.
I said to look at this guy's eye.
I'm more upset that cop from Portland Police, I'm more physically fit than he is.
He's so done being here.
I like the bald guy right here in the baseball cap is kind of like, come on, bro.
Like, dude, just stop.
Don't make us call your mama.
So,
the drama.
Yes. Anyway, Random PW Guy 84 for $2 says, under what authorization did President Eisenhower send the 101st Airborne into Little Rock, Arkansas to enforce school integration? And do you guys see active duty Army being used in the future? It depends.
The Insurrection Act. Because the locals were blocking the enforcement of federal law.
Right.
So they used the Insurrection Act.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
It did seem like an Academy Award worthy production.
Right.
The lighting was pretty bad though, so
yeah,
they're not going to win for technicals. That's for damn sure.
Let's see. Antifa, who call for courts and the rule of law to be abolished, celebrate the ruling of a judge blocking all National Guard from anywhere being used for federal service in Oregon. I like the wheelchair protesters. That's exactly what I would do if I were in a wheelchair.
I need to check back into this because we used to name all of the prominent figures. And you know who I haven't seen, and I'm kind of sure he might be dead, is Hot Wheels. I haven't seen Hot Wheels at a Portland protest in a good long while.
Hey, Joe, I just pulled it up too. What they used was under his constitutional duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, Article 2, Section 3. He used an executive order to do that. So it doesn't mention the Insurrection Act of what Eisenhower used. But it's the same thing that Trump could use at this point.
Right. Well, I mean, ultimately, there are a lot of tools that the president has to be able to do these things. And here's the other thing, too, is the Insurrection Act is kind of gets the troops in a more kind of kinetic posture. There's a lot of DISCA kind of stuff that you can do where the troops are basically security guards, but not with no arrest power, things like that.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure because I had never heard of it referred to as the Insurrection Act. So I pulled it up, but yeah, there's a lot of tools that he has at his disposal. I think he should use all of them, including martial law if need be.
Well, I mean, that's essentially what you get with the Insurrection Act. If a area, like let's say the city of Portland is in insurrection, right? Essentially, you can basically take martial law, declare martial law in that area, and establish essentially a security perimeter and lock the city down in order to kind of root out those insurrectionist elements. All right. Yeah. Oh, so this is my favorite fuck around and find out. So go ahead and push sound on this one.
Who is talking to you? No. Hey, this is the line that they created.
I like how her.
Is it just me, or did they do something to the pepper spray? I swear that the response, like I get, oh, she's crying, but like the responses used to be so much better than this.
I mean, I just love the youth of America finding out what the OC and pepper spray tastes like. No, I mean, because we had to do it. Joe, Watcher, we had to do this. Why shouldn't all kids have
no,
to?
She didn't even get a full X. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. What do we get? We get CS or CN. I can't remember what we get in the gas chamber. That's pretty fucking gnarly.
I got to be honest with you. She deserved
CN,
it for
right?
wearing those boots. That's a very big fashion police issue. Yeah. Honestly, that alone should have gotten her ass beat.
Weirdly, these are supposed to be like really tight fitting, super skinny, and her legs are so thin that you can see there's actually a wide gap around there.
There's like a gap on her skinny boots, yeah. And then, of course, the final video, the Watcher already spoiled it for you.
Hooker shoes detected. Says a chat. Yeah, well, facts.
I mean, this is ultimately what they all deserve. Is this basically being rolled in shackles?
I would just drag him by his feet. I think putting him on a cart is being way too kind.
Well, that's Blaine. You got to remember, you got to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
You know, if you
limited-
got to drag a bunch of people away, this is way easier.
Unless there's a bloody smear on the pavement, you're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right.
Yeah, limited agents. You know, they've only got so many calories to backlug these guys. No,
They're on a ramp. It would be funny if they stopped to talk and let the cart kind of just roll back down the ramp uncontrolled.
That's
I'm pretty sure what's already happened here too, because you can tell that he's doing this because they've been struggling. I bet he's already found out that if he kicks, all he's going to hit is his own shins. And I wish we would have seen that part of the video.
Yeah. Anyway, thus to all Marxists, cart them away, alive, dead, or otherwise. Lance Corporal veteran for $2. Leftists using violence to incite greater conflict. Yeah. I mean, essentially, that's what they're doing. They're trying to provoke a response. Here's the thing. Most of these leftists don't think there will be a response. That's why they're willing to provoke it. But eventually there will be a response. Or there will be an even harder core leftist who will basically set a bomb off and they will be the patsies for it. So
100%. Real quick, I forgot something about that last post. It's kind of important to mention. All of the media people have been furloughed, which means ICE.gov is doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah. That's true. Well, in fairness, most of the PIOs in law enforcement are also law enforcement, so it's kind of like that's
probably still
they're not getting paid, but
they didn't have to do their media.
But here's the thing: those ICE agents on the line aren't getting paid either. I don't think.
I mean, they're as far as I understand it, until the shutdown ends, they're getting that weird kind of government pay where it's like technically you're getting paid, but we can't pay you until the shutdown ends. So like you're making money, but it won't count until the end.
Oh no! Like once the government shutdown ends, like let's say it goes 30 days, right? So a full pay period. Essentially, you'll get a double paycheck on the next pay period.
Yeah.
So you'll get all the money. It's just
Also, weirdly, if you're with
something out here, the president's executive order that deployed the troops for the segregation, cited the authority under Title 10, Section 334, which is insurrection.
I stand corrected, Joe.
So
you forced me to go out and do research, and then I missed something.
It's because they used the National Guard to prevent the kids from going to school,
right?
And therefore, they were in a state of insurrection.
Yeah, and so essentially, what happens is the state deploys the National Guard. The feds federalize the National Guard, tell them to get the fuck out of there. They do, and then the 101st comes in and basically allows them to go in.
Yeah,
I will say, quick bit of let's just call it community information spreading. If you are one of those agents or an active duty or anybody who's not going to end up getting paid and then it comes around, like you have to wait for it to come around for the next paycheck, go talk to your bank, particularly if you use something like Navy Federal or any of the others that are like dedicated service member branches. A lot of them, as long as you talk to them, will actually just basically spot you at a 0% interest loan for that time period. I forget.
And I would recommend Watcher's right. I would recommend doing that because this shutdown's going to go for a long time.
Yeah,
I think this one's going to go 60 days.
You should look it up. It has a specific name, like they call it something. It's not like hey, we're just going to give you a loan program. Like it's got a specific name, and it's for federal shutdowns, and the government is who covers whatever the interest would be, as far as I understand it.
Lance Corporal veteran for $2. Lance Corporal veteran for $2. Violence is a screen for a color revolution. Yeah, I mean that's how they get the agitation going, right? You know, They're what they're trying to do is get the government to overreact, is what they're trying to do, because then they'll use that overreaction as like, oh, look, they're a dictatorship, it's a fascist regime, blah blah blah, all that kind of whatnot.
Yes, Rick. Yes, I speak from experience because when I don't want to give too much away, but when I was during one of the shutdowns, and I think we had a month where we didn't get paid or something.
If only somebody had written a book series about this.
I mean, if you just listen to the counseling, that I gave to my soldiers, save a fucking 3 months of your pay,
right?
as just in case, like an emergency fund. If you would just do that, then you wouldn't have to worry about this shit.
I mean, if you're a federal government employee, you're making enough money that you probably have some savings. You should probably use them.
There is no federal employee that is living on the streets as a result of this shutdown.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And there never will be. Okay? This is just BS.
Well, except for maybe the ones who are all getting fired, which, can I just say, fucking tactical mistake of the century.
Then they're not federal employees anymore.
Facts.
Yeah, they stop being federal employees because they get fired by the federal
Phil
government.
Coggins. Thank you, man.
And you know what else? If we determine them to be non-essential during a shutdown, they're non-essential when it's not a shutdown too.
Yeah.
Phil Coggins for $19.99 just posted the Navy Federal link in the CFC fan chat.
Navy Federal, by the way, is under some sort of a denial of service attack this morning, so it may take you a minute to get through.
Yeah.
I think USAA has a similar program.
I think most of the ones that are I know that the Army, doesn't the Army have a bank that's like when you go to boot camp, they give you an account with them?
Yeah. Hey, I just want to share one thing. Okay, this is going to be, this thing I'm sharing will be my final thing, so you don't have to pull this up. You don't have to pull this up.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I was going to pull it up during my predictions.
Gotcha.
All right, Joe. Let's. That's all I got for today. Joe, you want to go around the horn and give us your thoughts for the week?
I predict that I'm going to start a fire in this room because it's freezing cold in here right now. It's 27 degrees this morning in Montana, and it's very, very cold. Waiting for SCOTUS going to say.
I mean, I'm just saying you chose it, brother.
Jim tells you. Let me just say, I don't understand the sentence. So no, I didn't. Because I don't understand it. But my prediction for the week is that we're going to see spiraling protests getting worse. They're going to be pushing this Trump's invasion narrative all the way to the hilt, and you're going to see some more attacks on ICE. I mean, these are easy predictions to make, but they are what I've got.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think the ICE thing's going to devolve too. Blaine,
same thing. This is just the start. You've got to be very wary when you go into cities now. This is going to escalate because right now it's 2 cities. They are going to branch out.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it's just a matter of kind of getting the organization pointed in the right direction. Watcher?
I'm watching the leftist side, and there's no breaks on this train. So the most we get is the middle splitting from them, and that's largely happening, and I think it will continue to happen.
I think if there's go ahead.
I was going to say, I just think you should realize that where that means if they're pot committed, then there are only a few options.
The one good news to that is that the left is going to shoot itself in the foot in the midterms. If you just look at the candidates that are kind of out there right now, kind of doing the test for the presidency. They're already kind of going hard in the paint. They're absolutely stupid. Even Kamala evidently is looking at running again. So I think it's looking good. Don't keep your powder dry. Don't let your guard down. But if the left keeps this up, this isn't a party that can get gain any real ground in the Senate and the House. Definitely not in the Senate. Okay, so we've been talking about this kind of like urban, like one block of urban conflict, right? But the whole point is it can go from one block to one city to one state to one country, right? And it turns into civil war. Well, okay, so let's be honest. All of us at some point have been like, oh, a civil war would be great because it'll allow us to really clean up the system and blah, blah, blah. It's like we can kind of push some of the reset button on all the neo-Marxists, right? And go back to American values, right? Here's the problem, right? So I don't know about you guys in the chat. I've been to war. I've seen war. I haven't been to like full on like LISCO, which is large scale combat operations. I just did Iraq and Afghanistan, which is enough war for me. Thank you very much. But let me show you. I want to show you video of what LISCO in a city looks like after
Panama City, 1989.
Sometime. Well, it looks worse than Panama City did, honestly. It looks like this. Let me share my video. There we go. We got to remove that. And then there we go. This is what I don't want to see ever happen to an American city, which is what would happen if we had a civil war. This is Gaza. This is what happens when you basically go unrestricted warfare in an urban environment. I also think, what you see here should change the Army's tactics and how it does urban operations, right? Not a whole lot of, in this stage, not a whole lot of clearing rooms and things like that. I mean, it's not to say that you should never learn to clear a room. I'm just saying that when you rubble an entire block, it's military operations in a gravel pit more so than anything else. So yeah, keep it.
I've often maintained with the Civil War, you can't have it end quickly. The other side both sides have to experience a great deal of pain.
You have to have.
The war comes to an end. If the Civil War had ended at the Battle of Bull Run, and the Union had been victorious,
you would have had another one 10 years
there
later.
would have been another war in 2 years. So
yeah, no,
you're absolutely something go on for a while.
You're absolutely right, Blaine. You have to have capitulation. One side has to capitulate in order to have any real victory, and that's exactly what happened. The South could not continue to fight the North, right? No matter how you think about that, the South was burning. At least burn down Atlanta. Reverend Hazmat for $20. Stay safe, everybody. Love you all. That was a $20 super chat over there in the Rumble chat. Thank you very much, Reverend Hazmat. Thanks to everybody who, if you put $1 into supporting this show, I appreciate it. Yeah. All right, guys, that's all I've got. 2 hours, 8 minutes. We almost hit the time right on the head. We will be back on Wednesday. I'm sure we will be talking about ICE-related operations. Knock on wood, it's just more of the same versus something that gets worse. But I have a feeling this could go bad, high and right, very easily. So, all right. So for Joe and Blaine and Watcher chat, you guys were awesome. If you haven't done it already, please like the channel, subscribe, hit the bell. Oh, by the way, YouTube is letting us have people subscribe again. We've got over 30 subscribers in the last 30 days, which is literally the most subscribers that we've got on YouTube in probably 2 years. So if you are not subscribed over on YouTube, just go over there and hit the subscribe button. Even if you only watch it on Rumble, that's cool. I'm cool with that. I just want to see if we can't kind of hit the magic 5,000 subscriber number over there on YouTube, because we're not too far off. We're about 500 off. So That was easy to get. Watch her back in the old days. 500 subs was like, it was a couple months. We'll get 500 subs. Nope, not anymore. All right, we'll see you guys. We'll be back on Wednesday, and until then, you guys stay safe.